Welcome back to my not quite so humble anymore channel, for one of its videos has been found by a not quite so insignificant portion of Germany, for which I'm very thankful for. In this video, I will be travelling forwards and backwards through chapters, seeing how much the game manages to keep it together actually, and also have some minor shenanigans along the way. But you know the drill. So, let's get on with the video.
It's your decision. It's been nice knowing you.
The game begins with a marvellous cutscene of undisputed quality, which doesn't break on me despite OBS running in the background. And after getting punched in the face and talking to Diego, we are put into Chapter 1. This is unacceptable. To make sure you don't enter into Chapter 1, as soon as the cutscene finishes, save and load your game. And once you load it, take a step back, then save and load again. Then take another step back. Repeat this process until you are far away enough from Diego to where he doesn't initiate conversation. This is good, because if the conversation ends, we enter into Chapter 1. So the best way to stop that is by not entering conversation in the first place. This does, however, present an issue. You can't really find any footing anywhere on the edge of the water to get out of the water, because the only place that there is footing is next to Diego. So what you need to do is to swim onto this little rock that I found, then jump out of the water. And thus you have attained freedom. From here you can do the normal things that you do on any new run. Loot some chests, level up a little bit, figure out why you can't see across the map like you used to be able to every single other time you play this game. You know, the usual things. To get into Chapter 2, we need to join a camp. We can't join the old camp because that needs Diego, and he is stuck all alone by himself at the trading square, waiting for someone to talk to him. Sniff. Anyway, this doesn't prevent us from doing any of the old camp initiation quests. This will help us level up a little bit. The next camp you can join is the new camp. You'll need a Mordrag to take you over, so he can give you his ring, because otherwise you won't be able to see Lara's. Once we get to Lara's, he will inform us that we'll need to do a couple more jobs for us to get accepted, and we'll also get a message saying that we'll need to be level 5 to join. This means we will need to do a bit of questing. Next things next, I got a digger's dress from Swine in the Free Mine, convinced Bala Sidro to give me his weed, sold said weed, then I killed the damn lark of a Homer, and afterwards committed the tiniest little bit of mass extinction. And I think, with that, I am now level 5. And now, with all prerequisites met, Lara's should accept us with open... Hold on. Oh, this is a problem. It turns out that the new camp checks whether or not you're in Chapter 1 before letting you join. This is inconvenient. You do know which camp doesn't check whether or not you're in Chapter 1 or not. To join the sect with relative expediency, while still in the new camp, do Balpagan's quest in order to get the prepared dream pool. Then, when in the swamp, give it to Baltion. Afterwards, do some roleplay with Lester, do Baal Oren's lengthy quest in order to get a scroll of sleep, then use that scroll on one of Baal Gadar's disciples in order to gain his favor. Congratulations, you joined the sect. And with that, the next time you talk to Lester, it'll be the time when you enter Chapter 2 without ever having to enter Chapter 1.
May the sleeper protect you.
For anyone wondering as to the state of Diego after entering Chapter 2, he is broken, and I can't fix him. The next step of this challenge is to go from Chapter 2 to Chapter 5. I tried going from Chapter 2 to Chapter 4, but you can't. Oh well. To approach this leg of the journey, I acquired a mana increasing potion and did what any self-respecting Totally Not Dave video would do, and do the potion exploit. If you don't know how to do it, you have not watched my channel enough. Then, with the powers of the Transform into Bloodfly scroll, you can fly into the Free Mine, then ram yourself into the left side of the gate, and once you transform back, you will appear behind the gate itself, which will allow you to enter the free mine. In the free mine itself, for some reason, every single guard does not conspire to murder me. In fact, you can talk to all the NPCs here and they talk as if nothing's wrong. Convenient. Especially convenient, since I can get a nice upgrade to my current weapon. In the mine, I also discovered a genuine use for throwing items in this game, and that is throwing torches. Because as you prepare to throw the torch, it lights. So you throw a lit torch, thus illuminating the place where the torch lands. This is an absolute breakthrough. Anyway, the main reason for coming down into the mine was to talk to Tarok. Talking to Tarok spawns some additional animal trophies, and bringing them to him will get you an Ulu-Mulu. Conveniently, leaving the free mine puts you just outside the gate, so you don't have to do any extra shenanigans to get out. You just have to deal with a slightly annoyed guard. First on the chopping block is the troll. So far there is only one troll in the Troll Canyon, and to get to him you first need to get through a horde of black goblins, and oh god jeez, that's a bit too much for me. Oh, for God's sake, I'll need a few beers for this. Sounds mumbling and grumbling. I need to do this and I need to do that. I need to get myself some strength and then I'll get myself some magic, and that's gonna be enough to show this bastard, I hope, because everything hurts and everything sucks, but everything's amazing. But I managed to sweat through 2 layers of padding and Dewsbury, and I managed to give myself some heat exhaustion because I only drank 1 liter of water with the entire thing of Boris Johnson. And then, oh god, I have a bunch of tiny little balls on the desk, and my handful is soft, and mumble, grumble. My jank chains are rusty, and everything else is rusty. Well, not quite as much as the jank chains. There you go, I showed those little bastards. Anyway, you can get the horn of a shadow beast from a shadow beast, you can get the teeth of a swamp shark from a swamp shark, and you can get the tongue of a fire lizard by chucking ice bolts at a fire lizard on the beach by standing on a rock in the middle of the water, so you are constantly safe from the breath weapon of the fire lizard. That totally did not take that long at all. After the grandiose adventure, you can talk once again to Tarok in order to get the Ulu-Mulu. At this point, I do a tactical save as soon as I get out of the mine, as it'll be a convenient reset point, and you'll understand why in a little bit. With Ulu-Mulu in hand, approaching Gorn will have him describing events which never happened. Perhaps a swampweed-fueled fever dream. But after stopping conversation, he will address you about the Ulu-Mulu, thus progressing you to Chapter 5. And for anyone wondering, the old camp is friendly, the fire mages are still alive, Iberian is broken, and Diego remains broken. There remains one more chapter you can skip forward to, that being Chapter 6. However, going from Chapter 5 to Chapter 6 seems rather normal, so instead, we'll load a save back to Chapter 3 just before presenting the Ulu-Mulu to Gorn, thus allowing us to skip from Chapter 3 to Chapter 6. Cheerio, lads! So, instead of going straight to Gorn, go to the Temple of the Sleeper by transforming into a bloodfly, flying into the Orc Town, and getting into this little hole just above the gate and transforming back into your human form. Behold, speedrunning tactics. Once you get into the Temple of the Sleeper, you don't need to do anything particularly spectacular. Just open up all the gates, do the puzzles, until you get to the 4th Orc Shaman, the one with a strange sword. At this point, you need to take the strange sword and then get out. You don't need to be here anymore. Once you get past the loading screen, you will then need to get past the gate. To do so, you can just simply jump through it. Next stop is Zardos. The stone golem can be defeated with a Grachnak, assuming your strength is high enough. The ice golem can be defeated with fire bolts, and the fire golem with ice bolts. The hearts that each of the golems dropped would have been useful to give to the demon to get a rune of teleportation to get to Zardos easier, but the demon isn't there, because of course it isn't. Instead, we will have to resort to the catapult glitch. Once you get to Zardos, if you only choose the dialogue options about the strange sword, you will skip the entirety of the Chapter 5 nonsense, and you'll be able to get straight to the charging of Eurythiel, which is the prerequisite to Chapter 6. Once you find the ancient ore armor in Zardos' sunken tower, Zardos will give you the spell to recharge Eurythiel. Now, we need to find Milton, who I assumed would still be in the old camp, so I teleported over there, only to find that some of the guards are in fact now hostile to me, but only the ones in the mage's room. Otherwise everyone else is fine. But Milton isn't there. What a shocker. Instead he is in the new camp with Satyrus. And thus, by watching a cutscene that totally didn't break on me because of OBS, we enter Chapter 6. So that's the going forward through chapters done. Now what remains is going backwards through chapters. As far as it seems, so long as you haven't entered the chapter beforehand, you can go backwards to return to it. So since we went straight from chapter 2 to chapter 6, we can then go back to chapter 5, and then from chapter 5 back to chapter 3. I've only had the idea in editing that you can, in theory, go from chapter 6 to chapter 2 if you neglected to join a camp, which I have not, so if you want me to test that, I can do so, but not now. Anyway, here's what I have so far. Going from chapter 6 to chapter 5 is quite easy. All you have to do is exit the cave and go to Gorn, and then he'll confront you about the Ulu-Mulu and thus putting you into chapter 5.
See you later.
And for anyone wondering, the demon that's supposed to be in Zardos' tower is still not there, and the guards in the old camp and in the mines are now hostile to me. I don't know whether this is a result of me entering chapter 5 or me saving, quitting and then loading, but it is what it is. Now, all that's left for me to do is to go from chapter 5 to chapter 3. The trigger for this is to bring Cork Alarm 3 Minecrawler eggs and the Almanac. This should be easy enough, right? You can get 3 Minecrawl eggs from the old mine, we just need to get Ah, I see. We're not going to the old mine then. Instead of getting the eggs from the old mine, we shall instead be getting them from the Temple of the Sleeper. There are only 2 in there instead of the 3 that we need, but we'll fix that in a minute. At this point, the Almanac can be acquired with minor difficulty. The goblins don't pose as much of a threat when you have a magical sword which kills them in 1 hit. And now I shall give you a recipe to get 3 Minecrawler eggs out of 2. First, you give the items to be duplicated to a trader. Then you beat him up. Then you open his inventory and close it with your character sheet. Repeat this a few times. Then open your own inventory and then close it. Now save your game. Afterwards, open your own inventory and go all the way to the left and move the items to your side. Close your inventory and all the other ones you have opened by spamming tab. Then loot the trader that you have beaten up and move the items to your side. Congratulations, you now have 4 Minecrawler eggs for the cost of 2. Enjoy. Inconsistent funny voices aside, this is a perfectly functional duplication witch which you can use on anything. Anything. Regardless of if it stacks or not, if it's just 1 or multiple, congratulations, you can now break the economy even more than you can already do so. Have fun, use it responsibly. To give you another small curiosity for the road, I have discovered a thing you can do with chargeable spells, which I like to call pre-charging. What you do is, you charge a spell, but before it fully finishes charging, you strafe. This keeps the spell at its state at which you charge it at, but also ready at a moment's notice. So as long as you don't put away the spell, you can release it instantly, and also have the luxury of walking around. So have fun, use this responsibly. But yes, once you return to Cork Alarm and give him the 3 eggs and the Almanac, he will say that you have all you need and all the preparations are ready. And once you sleep till midnight and approach that 1 novice which triggers the cutscene, you thus can enter Chapter 3. And with this, the video concludes. Hope you enjoyed.